Alright guys, it's Mikey here, and today we're going to look at the Etek 5 main sense. So we're going to be stripping it down, and then we're going to be clearing away any of the dirt and oiling any O-rings. So firstly, you're going to need your Etek 5. I got mine. And then secondly, you'll need your set of Allen keys that came with the pack. Yep. And you might need pliers, the Planet Eclipse oil or anything similar, and you might possibly need a spanner, 19mm or 20mm. I'll show you why you need that later. You might need that later. And lastly, a rag to clean any dirt away. Right, so firstly, we're going to want to remove the macro line. So how to do that? You got a little clip, I'll call it. You just want to push it down. As you push it down, pull out your macro line. It will take a bit of force, but it should come out the one side, and the same on the other side. Push down the clip and pull it out. And there goes your macro line. So we'll set that aside. And next, the bottom of the grip here, you just prise it from the bottom there, bring it over to the side there, and then this little bolt here. Now this is why you might need a spanner. There are two little grooves there, so if it is too tight, obviously you can get your spanner and loosen it. But you should be able to just unscrew it by hand, like so. And then next we'll move the, I don't know what you call it, but the feed neck, I suppose. And then now you can remove the whole grip. Just make sure there's nothing over here, because when you pull it, it can jolt and you might hit it away. So just spin it, keep wiggling it, and it should come off. And now you've got the SL4 reg exposed, which is also used on the LV1. So what you do is give that a spin, like so, comes off. There we go, there's your regulator. And then now you've got your LPR and the poppet with the valve cap and the tuning fork inside, which is what we're going to want to remove next. So let's do that. If you want to get your thumb right in the trigger, just as a lever, and stick your two fingers on the LPR and the valve cap. And then while pushing down on the LPR and the valve cap, get yourself a little Allen key, and you just want to pull on the tuning fork inside there. And then when it's out enough, you can get your fingers and pull it out, like so. And there's your tuning fork. And then when you let go of that, it is spring loaded, so it will come out a bit. So just be careful, make sure you are holding them as you pull the tuning fork out. So firstly we'll pull the valve cap out with the spring, and then you should have, there you have the poppet as well. So with those, you want to give the poppet a good clean. Doesn't need any oil, you just want to clean it. Make sure it's nice and sparkly. And then with the valve cap, just make sure there's no dirt or paint on it. There shouldn't be. Just give the O-rings a clean as well. And then you want to get your oil. And just on the one O-ring on the valve cap, give it a bit of oil and spin that on, covering the whole of the O-ring, like so. And then the poppet will sit in the spring, like so, and that's that done. So next is the LPR piston. So we just pull that out. and then you've got the spring on half of the piston. So you get your pliers, and you can pull out the other half of the piston, like so. Same again, just want to give it a clean, and the other side, give it a good clean. And just want to oil up your O-ring on the one half. And you've got two O-rings on the other half. Like so. If you can hear that noise, it sounds like my neighbour's lawn mowing, sorry about that. Right, I put the piston back together, so I put the spring on the one half, and the other half goes into the other half, like so. There you go, there's your piston. Just want to give you a little bit of a clean, get rid of the dirt. Dirt can't get under the grip there, so just make sure that's good clean. Like so. And same with your tuning fork as well. Make sure your tuning fork got a good clean as well. It shouldn't have any dirt on it, probably just have a bit of lube or oil on it. Then once you've done that, we can put them back in. You just want to grab your marker, and then we'll just put the LPR piston in the bottom bit, and we'll grab the poppage and the valve cap and put it in the middle one. And then as we're pushing down, grab our tuning fork and just in like so. There you go, that's just sitting nice and flush. Nice and flush, shouldn't be sticking out, should be pushed in as far as it can go. And there you go, and that's LPR and the poppy done. So next, got a little O-ring here, we'll give that a bit of an oil. Another sealing O-ring, so give it an oil. And then move on to the regulator, add a quick clean. Any dirt as well off that. So two O-rings on the regulator, so we'll give that a quick oil. And a spin. And a spin. There we go, that's the regulator done. So we can then put that back onto our marker. And we can grab our grip and put our grip back on. Like so. And if we pull grip back off, it's very tricky with oiled hands. And we can put our sleeve back on. And the bolt back on the bottom there. You don't want to do it too tight, just hand tight. And then put the bottom of the grip back on, like so. There we are. So next we're going to look at the ram shaft. So first what we're going to do is we'll remove the bolt at the top, so pull the pin up, slide it out. So Cure 5 bolt with the GSL soft tip on it. Let's put that aside for now. And then what we're going to do is get an Allen key. And on the back here, I'm going to spin that off. Like that. And then give it a bit of a tap. And out comes the zig-free rammer for the Etek 5. Just want to give that a quick clean as well. And then we've got 4 O-rings on this rammer. So we get our oil. And we'll oil up all 4. Give it a spin. Doesn't matter if you get the whole rammer lubed. It needs to be. So there we go. And we can just then slide that back in. We can then give the cap a bit of a wipe as well. And also we'll oil that as well, because it's a sealant. Sealing O-ring as well, so hope we don't drop it. Give that a bit of a do as well. And then we can put that back onto our marker. It's a bit of a tricky bolt to get back in. You've got to push it as you spin to get started, and then it's right. There you are. It shouldn't go any tighter than it needs to be because it stops when it needs to. Then we come to the bolt. We'll make sure this is clean all the time. You've got 2 areas on it as well, which you can lube up as well. There we are. And there we go. So we can slide that back into our marker. And if you try and find the rammer, there we are, found it, then just double check. Oh, so that's the wrong bit, it's just not going back any further, so we'll just pull it back up. And we'll try and find it again. A bit tricky to find that one. There it is, right. So when you know you've got it, it should be flush with the back there, and it should have a little spring bit at the front there. There you go, that's in then. Right then, now move on to our grip. So remove the 2 screws on this side, and the 2 screws on the other side. And then our grip should just come off. So that's the reason we haven't re-put our macro line back on, because now the grip can slide off without the macro line being in the way. So we'll take our battery out, disconnect our battery, and turn it over, and we've got the board. You have got the optional upgrade for the OLED board, which I haven't got, which I probably will be upgrading to it in the next year or so. You've got 3 plugs here, one for the micro, for the switch, not the switch, the trigger, one for the solenoid, and the last one for the eyes. Down the bottom here we've got the OOPS ASA. If you need to take that off, you've got 2 screws at the bottom. I've lost one of my screws, need to get that replaced, but you can clean any of the debris out of there, take off if you have to. Come on to the eyes now. Eyes under this little panel here. So the same, Allen keys took the grip off, just the one little screw here. Take that off, and then the panel should come straight off like that. And there you go, you've got your eye sensor and your detent. Same with the other side, you can remove the panel, check the detent and the eyes. Make sure the detents are still there, so you should have, so if you put your finger down the hopper feed and push it out, just make sure that it's still got a good point on it. And push it back in, put your eye sensor back in, then you put the panel back on, and we can screw that back on then. As I said, you can do the same with the other side as well. So now we'll access the solenoid. So what you want to do first is you want to remove 2 of the 3 switches, sorry, plugs. You want to remove the top 2, which is your solenoid and your eyes. So pull the circuit board out a bit, and then pull your eyes out, which is the top one, and then the solenoid. The top 2 are out. And then you've got 2 screws which you need to remove. So once those are off, we can then pull the trigger off. When you do this, be careful because you've got the two wires from your eyes and your solenoid coming through the hole. So as you pull it off, just make sure those two wires come through safely. And there you go, it's removed. So you've got the trigger. So right now we've got the solenoid here. That's bolted onto the manifold. You've also got the transfer tube from the LPR to the solenoid, and also just under that tube is a magnet for the trigger, so it springs back. To make sure this is kept clean, no dirt under there. There are some special O-rings under the manifold which, if they break, they're under there. So you just have to remove the solenoid off and then remove the plate above the manifold. That's what you need to do with that. There's nothing much more you can do with that. So to get that back on, you're going to get your trigger back. Now the two cables through the hole. There we are, like so. And then as you put the trigger back on, just make sure you pull in the cables so they don't get trapped anywhere. That should go back on like so. And then you can plug the switches back in to their sockets. If you got any dirt underneath your trigger, you need to access the micro maybe. There's a little clamp that holds the micro down. Just take that off, turn it over. There's little clamps there, just pick them off. Take your clamp off, and then you can clean all the micro if you've got any paint down the trigger down there. That's that there. So then we can put our, we can screw our trigger back on now, or the whole handle back on. So there we go, that's screwed back on now. So right then, when those two bolts back in, we can go ahead and put our grip back on. So we'll put our battery on first. Test the battery, like so. Okay. Just make sure that we're test it's still working. Yep. But if its battery's dying, but it just shows its battery's connected. And then we can put our grip back on. Now we can put our macro line back on. So start off with the bottom side first. So what you do is push your clips down and set it until you get that second jolt. And then with the other side, quite tricky. Just have to, as you're pushing the clips down, force it round and in, and then pull your clips out. That secures it in. There we are. That is the Etek 5, stripped down, oiled up, and ready for use now. So yeah, any questions, just comment in the comment sections below, and hopefully this video has helped you learn how to maintain the Etek 5. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.